Hello, I'm Bird and welcome to Rebuilding Valencia, part of my Rebuild series, the series where I take fallen giants and sometimes smaller teams and try and take them back to glory. Hopefully you've seen episode 1 and you enjoyed it enough to come back for episode 2. While you're here, why not smash the like button? Really helps support the episode, the series and my channel. If you're brand new, feel free to subscribe. Hopefully you'll enjoy my old content and stick around for the new content. But yeah, like I said, this series, I usually give myself 3 episodes, 3 seasons to try and do something special, unless I feel like it deserves a 4th, and I've very rarely done a 4th. But if you're a fan of the Swansea series, I am doing a 4th. I got a bit of shit off a few people. I think they thought because I've done Valencia, I wasn't going to do Swansea episode 4, even though I teased it. The thing is, I play this in advance, so these seasons I've played days ago. I try and keep ahead of myself, so I've got to play Swansea. But I will be doing a season 4 of Swansea. If you're a fan of that little rebuild, that'll be coming out hopefully towards the end of this week. And that actually might be, after this Valencia rebuild, the end of the rebuilds for a little time. We're going to take a couple of months off the rebuilds and we're going to move into the Journeyman. And yeah, I ain't got enough time to play all 3 because I'm still doing my Munchen series. And if you haven't seen my Munchen series, go and check that out. It's brilliant. I love it. You'll love it. I'm sure you will. Right then. You're a bunch of legends, and I'm sure you can't wait to find out what's been going on, can you? It's been a great season. It's been a lot of fun to play. Let's get stuck in. So just a quick recap. We did pretty well in that first season. We finished second, only 2 points off Barcelona. Now, we were a top 4 side anyway. I wasn't 100% sure on how good Valencia were or where they were. I just knew they'd not really been challenging at an elite level consistently. But for a while, I felt, and I think I was right, they've not really been up there. I know they've had a few average years, hashtag Gary Neville, but you know, they're a massive club. They're going to be moving into that massive stadium in a couple of years, and I only signed 1 player. Now, someone in the comments in the last video said, "Bood, why do you always sign the same staff?" I've never signed the same staff. I just sign the same assistant if I can, and he's not even the best assistant. He's not even an assistant. He's a coach. I just like him because I've said this a million times. He reminds me of my friend, right? It's just one of them things you do on the game. We all have little silly things, but I've never really signed the same staff. I've signed different staff a lot of the time. I never even look at the names, man. I look at how good they are. That's it. But anyway, we're on to year 2. Now, I had a lot of things I wanted to do this year. It's all going to depend on my chairman because from what I found out last year, we didn't have a ton of money, or we did, and he didn't want to give me any. And he also likes to say no a lot. Now, if we move on to the club vision, you will know, because I talked about it in the last episode, and you'll probably know from real life because it is real. The club's moving to a new stadium pretty soon. Now, I don't know if that's done anything with the money and stopped them giving out money to spend on players, or I know they did spend money last year in real life, but he didn't want to give me any, and he didn't want to improve the facilities. He didn't want to get another money affiliate. He didn't want to get any kind of affiliate. He likes to say no. Hopefully, though, could do some business. Trouble is, I had 1 great player, and you'll probably know who I'm going to be talking about here. I had 1 great player. He was 30, 31. Best player I had last year. I was going to build my team around him. Only thing is, he had a £43 million release clause in his contract. And some arsehole matched it. Yeah, Paris Saint-Germain came in for my boy Danny. He was absolutely immense last year. I think he's a great player. He was our best player. And I very rarely stick with players over 30, but I knew we needed him. He's been at Valencia a very long time. He's a legend. And I really thought he was going to go nowhere. I didn't think anyone would match his £43 million release clause at his age, but Paris Saint-Germain have. Now that's giving me money, but it's also giving me a headache. First, let's look at some of the other outs. I tried to accumulate some cash, and one of them outs was Francis Coquelin. He's alright. Didn't play too much last year. Milan asked for him. I sold him for about 15 million. He's now worth 30. Great business. Didn't sell too many first team players. Some have left. 1 retired. Is it Eskel Gary? Whatever his name is. You're the centre half. His contract was up. I was going to try and keep him, and he retired. But we had some players like this around the early 20s in the B team who were okay, right? But if I could get money for him, I thought let's cash in because I know I could get better, in my opinion. Or I didn't need a left back. That kind of scenario. So we sold Tony Lato to Berlin. This transfer was already in place. If you start the game yourself and go to Valencia, he's already out on loan and the deal's already done. and it's worth about 10 million, so that's a bonus because I've never missed him, never had him to miss him. Now this was a weird one because I put him up for sale. I didn't think he's that good, to be fair. And Liverpool come in, obviously bought him as a backup. They spent 8 million on him. He's now worth a little bit more. I was just surprised because I didn't think I was going to be able to get rid of him. But I did. There was a keeper I wanted. That's why I put him up for sale. Otherwise, I would have kept him. So let's look at the ins at this point because it changes. And the first one's Jack Butland. He was at Stoke. He was up for sale. He's in the England squad. He's like, I think, England's third keeper. And I've not brought him in as anything but, you know, a possible backup. If he could push the number one out, he would. I just felt like he was a lot better than the guy I had. Transfer was a good one, and it's someone I've never had before. I've never had Malang Sarr. Don't know too much about him. I've been scouting. He was on my list. I like the fact that he was left-footed. He's got quite a bit of potential. He's only 21. He's going to cost me 20 odd million eventually. But I brought that down. Now I've had this guy once before. Can't remember what rebuild it was, but I'd never heard of him. And I needed a young striker. He was available. We could put a deal together for him. And I thought it'd be a bit different to try him again. I know I've had him before. I just can't remember where. Might have been on my Werder. Was it Werder Bremen? I can't remember. Maybe you know, right? But this is only the second time I've had him, so get off me back. But he's a good young player. Hopefully he can do something in La Liga. Now I have had this guy before. I have had him before. But you'd be silly not to go for him yourself because you can get him for a decent amount. I think he's cost me over 30 eventually because he's at no offence, a shit Italian team, and he's possibly one of the best young midfielders on the game. I think he can become one. He's a wonder kid at the minute. He bossed it for me at Arsenal, and I needed a replacement, didn't I? I lost an absolute world-class player. We're going to go through this together, and maybe you can help me understand what the hell's happening, right? So you can see there, that's last season. Paulo Dybala, one of the best strikers on the game. He can play as an AMC and a striker. He's a go-to world-class player. I've had him on multiple saves where he's done the business for me, right? Has gone to City. He usually does. I've seen him go to United, City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea. All for big money. He's made his big money deal. I thought, that's pretty standard. And then you go on him, right? Now I didn't go on him just to look at him because I wouldn't have even. It didn't even cross my mind. I ain't got the money. He's just signed for Man City. He's going to be here for the next 5-6 years, scoring goals for fun, right? But I'd got to that point where you might have seen I've got a bit of money in the bank, but I ain't got much to spend. So I thought I might need a player or two. So let's dip in the loan market. Sod it. Let's try and find a loan player. And who's at the top of the interested loan list? Is there? Now I was thinking of Daniel James. I'll give him a cheeky look. Look, if I go here, listed for loan, right? This is what I do. Who's listed, interested, right? Sometimes I'll chip the age down, sometimes I won't. You can get a good player, sometimes over 21. Click OK. These are players that want to come. Why is Pilot? Why is he there? Not only that, why is he transfer listed and loaned, right? Now this is Man City, and it's not like Pep's been sacked and he signed him and then he's been sacked. And a new manager's come in and said, I don't like the fact you spent 92 million on Paulo Dybala. Let's get rid of him. If we go with his happiness, pleased to join City, looking forward to proving himself while out on loan. But why is he out on loan? He's after Kevin De Bruyne, the highest valued player on that team. They have just spent 92 million on him. And then they've put him up for sale and put him out on loan. Why? I can't find out why. But do you know what? I don't care. Because if you notice what that bid is, it's from me. Now at this point though, I'm battling it out with Liverpool. They've actually tried to sign him. Right. Why? So if we start with our goalkeepers, you'll know we've got Jasper, who they signed last year themselves before I became manager for 30 million for Barcelona. I think he's pretty good. All round, very good. Although I do like Jack Butland. No first touch, can't pass, can't punch, don't care. So I felt like we were stronger in the goal area. To the left backs, and you'll see why I cashed in on Tony, that kid I've never heard of. Because I've got Mr. Jose, who is boss on this game. He's a great left back, still is a good left back, like him a lot. He's going to be backed up by young Thierry Correia, 21-year-old Portuguese lad, who is again a very good player. Over to right back, and again we're going to go with Daniel Was this year. I think he's decent, he's experienced, he's 31, he can play in midfield. But I like him as a right back. He's an all-rounder, really good player. I did consider maybe going for a right back, but sod it, can't be bothered. He's going to be backed up by Cristiano Piccini, I think, 27-year-old, who, again, is a good player. Onto the centre halves, and I felt good. We've lost a very experienced player, but we've brought in a good young player. So we've got, oh God, his name is, what is his name? Diakiabe? Mokhtar Diakiabe? I don't know, he's 23, but I think he's good. We've got Mr. Mangala, who they signed last year from City. He is a good player, he's 29. I think he's a bit pissed off, he wants to play more. Didn't play much last year. Probably won't play much this year, but great squad player to have. We've still got Gabriel Paulista. I love his, he looks like he wants to murder you. Onto the centre midfield, and I probably wish I'd done this now. Paris Saint-Germain actually came to me with a huge offer for Mr. Jeffrey Kondogbia, Jeffrey Kondogbia from Central Africa, who's a very good player. They offered me 60 odd million. I said no, so they've come back and nicked me other player that they could just take. Maybe if I'd have sold him Jeffrey, we'd have still had Danny. Hindsight is a wonderful thing. We've obviously got Daniel Wass right back, but he can play there. Carlos Soler, I've had loads of bidding for him. Loads of bids. Now at this point, I ain't give him a new contract, but I do give him a new deal because he's only got a year left on that one. But he's a good squad player. It's Sandro Tonali. He's going to be definitely playing, probably with Jeffers. Over to the AMC, and of course, we've got Mr. Pastore. He's only player assigned last year, never had him before. But he's a good player. He did really well for us. Suits the role. Now, I would have liked to improve the wings a little bit more, but I've got two really good wingers, you know. So I didn't see why. Maybe I need to. So we've got Guedes, who, to be fair, is going to be my left winger. Good, got a bit of pace. If he had his ears pinned back, he could run well faster. They're like parachutes. Rodrigo, he's probably going to play on the right. I like him, even though he's left-footed. I like him a lot. Like we said, I've got this kid, Jason, who I think I've promoted this year. I think I promoted him from like a B team or something. Over to the left, of course, you've seen Guedes. He's going to be my starter. But I've still got Dennis, the little Russian, who I think is a good squad player. Now, going forward, we had Maxi Gomez, and he was my main striker last year. And he's all right. He's only 24. I didn't feel 100% confident in him. So that's why we brought in Victor, who is probably going to be my starter, to be fair. And we've still got a couple of other lads who can cover there. I just had my fingers crossed. I'll get Paulo Dybala. The weirdest transfer in the history of Football Manager. I've never seen anything like it. But if we can get him... that's my evil laugh. So don't forget, we're in a lot of tournaments this year. We're back in the Super Cup somehow. And thank you to so many of you who told me what it's all about. It's a money grab. You've kind of sold it to the Arabs as a way of getting all the big teams in it every year and it being some big thing. I think they've got, one of you guys said 100 million for it, or like a deal over the next few years. Fair play. Making money for the league. But really, is it played? I wondered why it was getting played out in the desert. But yeah, we're in the Spanish Cup. They'd like us to get to the semi-final, the Copa del Rey. Quarter-final at Champions League. And they just want us to get in the top 4 again. I'd like to do something. This year's got to be the year we try and win something. So these are the odds for this year. Real Madrid sat their manager. They brought in Thomas Tuchel. So I've been Zidane who's gone on it. Atletico Madrid sat their manager. I found that insane. Because he's great. Laudrup's now a manager in this league. Atletico Club Bilbao got a new manager. I mean, there's a lot of pressure in this league, isn't it? Even if you're up there, you can get the sack, which is quite scary. So this is September the 1st, and before we get stuck into anything else, I just wondered if many of you thought to yourself when I'm showing you the centre of the park, it looks a bit light, didn't it? And I felt it looked a bit light. So I looked for players who looked decent, who was Spanish to help out with the European player quota. It didn't cost them too much money. And I found Luca Sangali, who's at Real Sociedad. He's only cost me a few million quid. We got him. Don't ask me how. I don't know. I kind of don't care. I feel like I've been blessed with a player. I'm not even having to pay a monthly fee. Just 155 grand a week. For Paulo Dybala. AMC striker. I don't think I've ever been excited on a rebuild as much because I just never expected to get him. So I thought I'd mix it up this year. We extended our pre-season by 2 games. We went to Portugal, which is obviously nice weather and not too far. We had a training camp, and then after training camp, I went to China. So it's still a good place to go. I like to think we are spreading the brand, trying to make more money. As you might have seen at the top of the last screen, we're second after 3 games, played 3, won 3. Yeah, Barcelona are on fire, and my new kid's already scored 3 goals. Lionel Messi's still scoring goals. You know what I love about Messi? Because I'm lazy. I'm still using an old face pack from last year. Can you tell he looks like really old? That's because I did a video last year. I don't know if you saw it. Messi and Ronaldo. Basically, what happened if they'd got real kids and I put their real sons in the game. We went forward in time and we saw which one of their sons would be the best player. Go and check it out if you haven't. So I had to make Messi look old. So I used an app to make him look old. So does Ronaldo, because I can't be asked changing his face either. We've also been drawn in what I class as the group of freaking death in the Champions League. FC Bayern, Milan at the old Milan, but it's still an awesome team. And Shakhtar, it's never a great place to go and play football. They've always got good Brazilian players. Welcome to the 1st of January 2021. And obviously we haven't played the Super Cup, we haven't played in the Spanish Cup. We played Champions League, but we'll get to that next. I wanted to start here for a change. We're top of the league by 4 points. And I say this, if I win, I have a target, don't I, in the series. If we win the league or something big in episode 2, I'll end it. I think I did that with United. I ended up coming back for a 3rd season with United later on FM19 just because I was playing it personally. But if I win this league, I can get stuck into Swansea then, can't I? And start preparing for my Journeyman series. Once a week, Saturday night, 1 season a week. You're going to love it. So going forward, we've been pretty good. I'd like us to be a bit better, but we're still up there. We're still competing with the big boys. Real Sausage Dad are doing very well. It's defensively. We're shutting shop. Shutting shop. And what I've got a new backup goalkeeper and a young centre-half, and we still got the same pretty much defence as last year. So yeah, the tactic we're using, the Kloppy Dola from 7, I'll talk about in episode 1. I like it. On to the Champions League, and we won the group, although the group was pretty tough. Especially when we played Milan. You might see it down there. We got beat 5-1 away in Milan, and that was just a lesson to say we are still a very, very, very good team. Now, talking of Milan. Now then, that's reminding me I forgot to tell you about Lucas Paqueta. Now the reason was I was so consumed by Paulo Dybala. The thing was I wanted a player to help back up Pastore, even better Pastore, who could also cover in the middle as well. I felt like it was too weak, and you probably thought that when I first showed you the team report. So we bought this guy. The deal was already going through because I wasn't going to rest on my laurels on Paulo Dybala coming to Wolves on loan. I didn't get it why it was happening, so I didn't feel confident in that. So we bought Lucas, and then Paulo Dybala said yeah anyway, so I took them both. But back to the group quickly. Bayern Munich haven't got out the group stage. If they don't go on and win the Europa League, then there's something wrong. We, on the other hand, should sail through the next round in the Champions League. If we don't, I'm going to quit. I'm going to resign because, no offence, but we should be beating these. So we're at the halfway point. This is the squad arranged by average rating, and Paulo Dybala is my best player. Every time I get to pick him and see him in blue, weirds me out. Mokhtar, I can't say his name. He's a good centre-half. Gaya's good. The new little striker's good. I mean, Tonali's good. Was has been good. They're a good team. We're now at April 1st, April Fool's Day, and I kid you not, this is not an April Fool's. This is reality. We got beat in the semi-finals of the Super Cup again versus Barcelona. Messi got the second. I mean, apart from that, we matched them. Barcelona went on to win it again. Last year they beat Atletico Madrid. This year they beat Real Madrid. They are still the top dogs at the minute, I think, in Spain. Over to the Spanish Cup, the Copa del Rey. I'd like to win this. It's not. I don't think the Spanish take it too. Do they take it seriously? It don't seem like they do. I don't know. But yeah, we've played Numancia. We went on to play Deportivo, another team I used to see as one of the big boys when I was younger. They've kind of gone off. They'd be a great rebuild. We then faced Atletico Club Bilbao and got beat 2-0. But we played the first round of the knockouts in the Champions League, so let's see what we did. And we went to Lille, and to be fair, they put up a fight really. It wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be. It was 2-1. But we finished them off with a bit of style, beating them 3-0 in the return leg at our place. Good performance really from the lads. Really enjoyed it. And we've drawn Man City in the Champions League. Man City, right, who let me not put in a Dybala clause. Dybala can play against them. Over to the league, and we've started to let this slip, man. 6 points behind Barcelona at this point. 4 months ago, we were riding high at the top. And we've got the league's leading goal scorer, and I knew he's good. And I hoped he'd suit La Liga. I didn't think he was going to be that good. And maybe it's our defence. A few injuries, a few tired players. I've had to switch it a bit. But we went from being awesome to alright. Although we're scoring goals, which is good. We're not as good as Barcelona, but we're good enough. We've also got quite a few players in the top 17. Dybala's 17th, Gaya's 16th. Victor, my striker's 3rd best player in the league, behind Toni Kroos and Januzaj. I'm a United fan. When did Januzaj become a good player? Now, these are the results in La Liga this season. I mean, I've reversed the date, so that's the last game we played, which was a great game, beating Real Madrid. It's always fun. Obviously, we've got to beat off them again. Drew a good team like that. It's losing games like this, silly games like this, close games like that, and drawing against teams like that as well. We've got to beat off Barcelona. I'm surprised by that. Real Madrid did beat us. It's just at first we were well good. I mean, look at that. You can see why we were top of the league, can't you, by January? Even with a couple of those results. It's just this. Starting to become a rainbow, and if you know me, I don't like rainbows. I like green roads that are clear of bumps and holes. Do you know what I mean? Yellow bumps, red holes. Nice flat green road. Well, let's start here with the league, and yeah, bit disappointed. We managed to catch them up a bit. We did put a fight up. It was a 3-point gap in the end. Again, they've just pipped us to the freaking post again. So I'm proud of that. I just feel a little bit flat by it. I mean, it was great to have the best goal scorer in the league by a country mile. 11 goals lead he had over the guy in second, Morata, who I think is average. So that's awesome. I mean, it's awesome. We've got no one in the best players. Toni Kroos ended up the best player. Januzaj second. And like I said, we put up a fight. We didn't get beat. We've drawn 3 of our last lot of games. I mean, we didn't play anyone really tough, to be fair. So I didn't expect anything less. I mean, it's just a couple of them draws either way. Espanyol, Levante. I mean, some silly points dropped. We was on to the Champions League, and of course, we were facing Man City, the team that had given us their £92 million star and let him play against us. Not only that, he scored against him. Now, we were winning, you might notice that. They came back into it with 2 goals at the end, which was very annoying, although they did deserve it. They were the better team. We scraped our way through. And won on away goals. Although we were the better team. Way better. It was back to Manchester. This time, though, it was back to the biggest club in Manchester, if not the world. Manchester United and the Theatre of Dreams, where we put on a performance, a game of the ages, a game that no one will ever forget. And then we beat those red bastards 3-0 home. I love United. I'm a United fan. I'm joking. Great game again. You might notice at this point, Dybala's nowhere to be seen for a few different reasons. One is not very well, as in he's injured. For some reason, the game wanted me to go up against another Premier League team in the final. Another Premier League team that if I could beat, right, this series is done, man. Yep, it was Arsenal, and we did beat him with a goal from Rodrigo. My trusty little right winger, Dybala, was back for this game, although he didn't do much. No one did much. The game itself felt quite flat. It wasn't very exciting. A lot of wayward chances, a lot of bookings maybe killed the game, stopped its speed. My centre-half got man of the match. I mean, when we scored quite early, I thought this could be something special. And it wasn't. But if you win the Champions League, it doesn't matter how you win it. It doesn't matter if the ball hits a crossbar, smacks someone in the face, bounces off your ball bag, hits your mate on the arse cheek, and flies in the net. A win's a win. If you're wondering who won the Copa del Rey, it was Real Sociedad. You know, the team with the best player in the league, Januzaj. So this is it. My final squad arranged by average rating. Now, you could say, would you have won the Champions League if you didn't have Dybala? I still think we could. I still think we'd have been good. The Dybala was great. 11 goals, 9 assists. But Lucas, who we got from Milan originally, he played quite a lot. He ended up playing further back. He was good. He'd have probably played further forward. Pastore would have got more games. It would have been interesting, but I know it was a weird thing to see. And if one of you guys have seen it, I don't know if it's a fault, maybe it's a bug happened, something, I don't know. And I've just basically used a loophole. If it is available to get him, don't you? So there we have it. That is the end of Rebuilding Valencia episode 2 and the end of Rebuilding Valencia. Hopefully you enjoyed it enough to smash the like button and maybe even subscribe if you're new. And thank you, honestly, for taking time to watch it. I really do appreciate it. Make sure you go and catch up on the Munchen series. If you've not seen it, it's basically a reimagined team. And it's like a rebuild. I do 2, sometimes 3 episodes a year. And then hopefully next week, the Journeyman will start. And I've got a few other little bits and bats I want to do. So stay tuned, man. I do as much as I can. Like I said, I do struggle for time. So I do my best. Hopefully you appreciate that, because I appreciate you and your subscription, your views, your thumbs up and your comments. Bunch of legends, best subscribers on YouTube. Hope you have a great day. Hope you have a great week. I love you all. You've been great. I'm Bood. See you next time.